panel is here to weigh in. Rebecca Grant, Vice President of the Lexington Institute. It's a conservative think tank focused on defense and security policy. Thane Rosenbaum, professor at Tara University, a Middle East analyst. Welcome to you both. Rebecca, we'll just start with you. You think about the lack of outcry when it comes to calling for the release of these hostages, especially considering there are Americans being held by Hamas. Why do you think that is?
My reaction to this is I'm just so horrified. But, Biden has a failure on his hands here. So many days have gone by. And unfortunately, what's happening now is Hamas, by refusing to agree to any ceasefire terms, is now starting to use this time and space to rearm and reconstitute and rebuild some of their military capability in parts of the Gaza Strip. So we are at a point where, to my mind, two things have to happen. One, Israel has to be secure. And second, Hamas cannot control Gaza going forward. As
the war continues on, as we know in the Middle East, we're seeing its impact here stateside. The tension in America is increasing by the day. We followed it yesterday, but wanted to just bring this footage again back to our viewers' attention. An anti-Semitic mob going after Jewish people in Los Angeles. It happened over the weekend. By the way, this area is the second largest Jewish community in the country. President Biden did weigh in, saying, quote, "I'm appalled by the scenes outside the synagogue in Los Angeles. Intimidating Jewish congregants is dangerous, unconscionable, anti-Semitic, and un-American. Americans have a right to peaceful protest, but blocking access to a house of worship and engaging in violence is never acceptable." That caught the attention of Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who said this: "You're appalled, but not appalled enough to send the FBI or the National Guard to protect Jews in America, or to arrest pro-Hamas terrorists committing acts of violence, or to have DOJ follow the money and prosecute the funders who are your funders too." Thane, just wanted to get your reaction to the president's thoughts and then also that response by the Texas senator.
Emma, does that look like people exercising their First Amendment freedoms to you? Does that look like an exchange of ideas? These are violent Muslims that do this in Europe, and now they're doing this in the United States. Yes, they're masked, but my guess is most of them are Muslims. And outside of a synagogue, could you imagine if this was a Catholic church or a black church, right? What does this have to do with Israel? Look, you see that guy punching. This is, how do we punch and beat up Jews? How do we attack them? And I agree with Senator Cruz. The police actually said, Emma, that they were told to stand down, to let the Palestinian supporters, the pro-Hamas supporters, have their way. It's a good political move for Democrats in an election year. Are you kidding me? So that the idea that they created a little zone, the Jews were not protected in coming into the synagogue. The pro-Hamas Palestinians were protected in remaining outside the synagogue and blocking access. Look, this is everything that's happened in Gaza, and you're quite right to be appalled by the images of the hostages. No one seems to care about how this started and the excuses that have been made for this appalling behavior.
Right. Rebecca, the former editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Post, also saw the video and has thoughts about what was allowed to play out, writing, "If the mob that besieged a synagogue and attacked Jews in the streets of Los Angeles yesterday had been carrying tiki torches, maybe we'd be taking it more seriously." And Thane referenced this point. If this would have happened outside of any other religious institution, would it have been shut down immediately and consequences actually in place? Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, and I literally cannot imagine this taking place outside the little country church that I go to. Los Angeles, the whole country, we need to stop this violence. There is never a reason to protest in that manner near a house of worship. It is wrong. Biden knows it. Biden has got to put a stop to this, no matter what it takes. National Guard, whatever it takes. Stop this now.
All right. That is Rebecca Grant and Thane Rosenbaum joining us this morning. Appreciate your time and insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
Thanks. The Trump National